Psychology reveals that people who have few or no friends often possess cognitive wiring that society completely misinterprets. Not socially broken, not emotionally damaged, and not struggling with connection. In reality, their brain has developed sophisticated filtering systems that make typical friendship patterns feel incompatible with their psychological needs. If you're someone who watches group chats go silent after you stop responding, who canceled plans 3 times this month and felt relief each time, who genuinely cannot remember the last time you missed someone, you've probably been told something is wrong with you, that you're pushing people away, that you'll regret this isolation later, that humans aren't meant to be alone. But research tells a completely different story. Neuroscience shows that individuals who naturally operate outside traditional social structures often exhibit advanced emotional regulation, heightened pattern recognition in relationships, and what psychologists call selective bonding orientation. While most people build friendships out of social necessity and fear of isolation, your brain has developed an entirely different relationship with connection, one that prioritizes internal stability over external belonging. Here's what psychology reveals about the 5 traits that explain why you have few or no friends, and why that might be exactly right for your nervous system. 1. Your brain detects energy mismatches that others completely miss. If you have few friends, there's a strong probability that you experience something most people don't even know exists: energy incongruence detection. You walk into a room and immediately sense when the emotional atmosphere doesn't match what people are saying. When someone says, "I'm fine," but their entire energetic presence screams distress. When a group is laughing, but the laughter feels forced, performative, like everyone agreed to pretend something is funny. This isn't intuition or overthinking. This is your brain's mirror neuron system operating at higher sensitivity. Neuroscience research shows that mirror neurons, brain cells that fire both when you perform an action and when you observe someone else performing, it vary dramatically in sensitivity between individuals. People with hyperactive mirror neuron networks don't just observe behavior. They absorb it. They feel the emotional undercurrents that others intellectually ignore. Here's what happens neurologically. When someone near you is anxious but pretending to be calm, your insula, the brain region responsible for interoception and emotional awareness, picks up the discrepancy. It notices the tension in their shoulders, contradicting their relaxed words, the quick eye movements contradicting their steady voice, and your brain registers this as data corruption. Think of your mind like a computer scanning files. Most people's brains flag obvious viruses, clear lies, obvious manipulation. Yours flags corrupted files, situations where the emotional data doesn't match the presentation. And just like a computer quarantines corrupted files, your brain creates distance from energetically incongruent people. This is why you can sit at dinner with perfectly nice people and feel completely drained afterward. They weren't mean, they weren't rude, but their energy was off. Maybe someone was pretending to be interested in the conversation while mentally somewhere else. Maybe someone was hiding resentment behind compliments. Your brain tracked all of it, processed all of it, and used enormous cognitive resources analyzing discrepancies that nobody else even noticed. While other people casually ignore these mismatches and maintain friendships anyway, your nervous system treats them as fundamental incompatibilities. You're not being difficult. You're responding to information others aren't equipped to perceive. A metal detector doesn't apologize for beeping when it finds metal. Your energy mismatch detection isn't oversensitivity, it's precision. 2. You require meaningful exchange, not just pleasant interaction. People without friends aren't avoiding socializing. They're avoiding empty socializing, and your brain knows the difference instantly. If you're the person who feels physically restless during conversations about nothing important, who zones out when people discuss their day in excruciating detail without any insight or reflection, who'd rather sit in complete silence than engage in verbal ping-pong that goes nowhere, there's a neurological explanation. Psychology identifies this as high need for cognitive engagement. Your prefrontal cortex, the brain's executive function center, requires stimulation that creates new neural pathways. It wants to analyze, synthesize, connect disparate ideas, explore complexity. When conversations stay purely transactional, sharing information without exploring, meaning your brain essentially idles in neutral. Research on cognitive stimulation shows that certain individuals experience something called understimulation stress. Just like some people feel anxious from too much stimulation, you feel a different kind of discomfort from too little intellectual depth. Your dopamine system doesn't activate for social interaction alone, it activates for meaningful exchange. Here's what this looks like practically. Someone tells you about their vacation. Most people respond with, That sounds amazing, and the conversation ends feeling complete. You need more. You want to know why they chose that location, what they were seeking, what changed in them, what they learned about themselves. The conversation isn't satisfying until it reveals something underneath the surface facts. This creates a fundamental problem. Most people socialize to pass time, feel less alone, or maintain social networks for practical reasons. You socialize to explore ideas, understand perspectives, and access insights you can't generate alone. When those needs aren't met, socializing feels like wasting your most valuable resource, your attention. So you stop accepting invitations to events where you know the conversations will be shallow. You stop maintaining friendships that feel like obligation without substance. Not because you're arrogant or think you're better than everyone, because your brain has a minimum requirement for meaningful exchange, and most social situations don't meet it. While everyone else is content with pleasant interactions that fill time, you're searching for conversations that expand your understanding of being human. A deep-sea diver doesn't spend time in kiddie pools. Your need for depth isn't snobbery, it's necessity. If this is the first time you've heard someone explain what's happening in your brain without calling it a problem that needs fixing, you've found your people. This is Unfelt, a channel dedicated to exploring psychological experiences that make you feel alone in a crowded world. If you want to keep exploring the psychology of being different, subscribe right now. This is your community, the people who finally get it. Now let's talk about trait 3, because this one explains why you feel exhausted after social situations that other people find energizing. 3. Your nervous system experiences social interactions as full system events. Here's what people don't understand about why you need days to recover after a single social event. Every interaction isn't just happening in one part of your brain. It's activating multiple systems simultaneously at intensity levels that drain your entire nervous system. If you're someone who needs 48 hours alone after attending a birthday party, who feels physically exhausted after coffee with one person, who experiences social situations like running a marathon, even when you're just sitting and talking, this is why. Neuroscience calls this global neural activation during social processing. While most people's brains activate specific regions for specific tasks, language centers for conversation, visual cortex for reading faces, your brain activates numerous systems at once. You're not just hearing words, you're analyzing tone, tracking micro-expressions, monitoring group dynamics, predicting conversational trajectories, managing your own presentation, and processing emotional subtexts simultaneously. Research using MRI brain imaging shows that individuals with heightened social sensitivity demonstrate activation in the prefrontal cortex, anterior cingulate cortex, temporoparietal junction, and limbic system, all at once during social interaction. It's like running 5 demanding programs on your computer at the same time. Everything slows down. Heat builds up, energy drains fast. Here's the critical piece. This isn't a disorder. This is your brain gathering more data than necessary for basic social function. You're not just present in conversations, you're meta-analyzing them in real time, noticing patterns, reading subtext, tracking power dynamics, understanding what's not being said. While someone with standard social processing walks away from a dinner party thinking, that was fun, you walk away with a complete psychological profile of everyone there. Who has unresolved tension with whom? Who's performing happiness? Who's genuinely present versus mentally checked out? You didn't intend to gather this information. Your brain automatically collected it. This is why you can't do back-to-back social events. Why you need substantial recovery time. Why you can't just push through fatigue the way others suggest. Your nervous system isn't weak. It's operating at a higher resolution that requires more processing power and more downtime to integrate everything it absorbed. While others run social interactions like quick phone calls, you're running them like full system backups. Both work. One just requires significantly more resources. 4. You've built an internal emotional ecosystem that doesn't require external input. Most people treat friendships like emotional infrastructure, necessary support systems without which they'd collapse. You don't. And that fundamentally changes how you relate to connection. If you're someone who goes weeks without needing to talk to anyone, who doesn't feel the urge to share every experience immediately, who processes emotions entirely internally before ever considering discussing them with others, you have what psychologists call high emotional self-regulation capacity. Research in emotional development shows that most people co-regulate emotions. They feel anxious, they call someone, they feel excited, they need to share it. They feel uncertain, they seek external validation. Their emotional stability depends on continuous input from their social network. It's not weakness, it's just how their system developed. Your system developed differently. Your prefrontal cortex built robust internal regulation mechanisms. When you feel anxious, you have internal processes to examine why, challenge the thoughts creating anxiety, and return to baseline without external intervention. When something good happens, you can feel the full joy of it alone, without needing someone else's reaction to validate the experience. When you're uncertain, you consult your own values, past experiences, and logical analysis rather than polling your friends. This creates what looks like independence but is actually something more sophisticated: emotional self-sufficiency. Here's what this means practically. You don't keep friends around as emotional support systems because you built emotional support internally. You don't maintain relationships out of fear of being alone with difficult feelings because you've learned to sit with those feelings and process them solo. You don't need people to celebrate your wins, mourn your losses, or reassure you that you're okay. This makes you seem cold to people who can't regulate their own emotions without help. They see your lack of need as lack of feeling, but you feel everything, you just don't need an audience for it. While everyone else outsources their emotional stability to their social circle, you've internalized it. You're not emotionally unavailable, you're emotionally self-contained. A greenhouse doesn't need the outside weather to grow plants. Your internal emotional ecosystem isn't isolation, it's self-sustainability. 5. Your brain runs a vulnerability, cost-benefit analysis that most friendships fail. Let's address the thing that might be most true. Sometimes having no friends isn't about preference, it's about protection. Your brain learned something about relationships that changed how it evaluates every potential connection. If you're someone who watches people for months before deciding whether to trust them, even slightly, who keeps conversations carefully surface level, even when you desperately want to go deeper, who has entire parts of yourself that nobody's seen in years, there's probably a reason your brain built this system. Psychology shows that early relational trauma, or repeated experiences of betrayal, create what neuroscientists call a recalibrated vulnerability threshold. Your brain experienced pain specifically connected to opening up, so it rewrote its algorithm. It now treats vulnerability as a high-risk behavior, requiring extensive evidence before engagement. Here's the neurological mechanism. When you've been hurt by people you trusted, your amygdala, your brain's threat detection center, begins associating emotional openness with potential harm. Not consciously, not dramatically, but every time you consider being vulnerable, your nervous system releases stress hormones. Cortisol rises. Your heart rate increases slightly. Your brain whispers, "Remember what happened last time." This isn't paranoia. This is pattern-based prediction. Your brain is using past data to calculate future risk, and most potential friendships, when run through this calculation, come up as probable net loss. Maybe you had friendships that fell apart the moment you showed struggle instead of strength. Maybe you had people use your vulnerabilities as weapons during arguments. Maybe you learned that the more someone knew about you, the more leverage they had to hurt you. So, your brain implemented a security protocol. Observe extensively, test minimally, trust rarely. This is why you might want friends but simultaneously find yourself sabotaging connections before they deepen. Why you ghost people who are getting too close. Why you create distance the exact moment someone starts really seeing you. Your brain isn't being cruel, it's preventing re-traumatization. While other people open up quickly and deal with betrayal repeatedly, you've implemented a system that prioritizes safety over connection. You're not emotionally unavailable. You're strategically protected. A bank vault doesn't open for everyone who asks. Your guarded nature isn't dysfunction, it's intelligent risk management. Now let's completely reframe what society has told you about having few or no friends. Society operates on a simple equation. More friends equals more success, more happiness, more proof that you're a functioning human. If you don't have a large social circle, something must be wrong. You must be lonely, struggling, missing out on life. That equation is fundamentally flawed. Having few or no friends doesn't mean you're failing at connection. It means your brain requires different conditions for connection than most people need. Your nervous system operates with higher sensitivity, deeper analysis, more sophisticated protection mechanisms, and more developed internal resources. You're not someone who can't make friends. You're someone who won't compromise your psychological well-being for the appearance of social success. Think of yourself as an architect who refuses to build on unstable ground. Everyone else is constructing quick, flimsy friendships that fall apart eventually. You're waiting for solid foundation and willing to stand on empty land until you find it. Here's the truth society won't tell you. You possess energy, incongruence detection, meaningful exchange requirements, full system social processing, internal emotional ecosystems, and intelligent vulnerability management. You have cognitive precision, emotional self-sufficiency, pattern recognition based on lived experience, and the psychological strength to choose solitude over settling. You're not missing out on friendship. You're refusing friendships that would cost you more than they'd give you. And until you find connections that match the quality of your internal world connections, that honor your depth, respect your boundaries, and meet your standards, you're exactly where you should be. Whole, aware, uncompromising, and absolutely right to protect what you've built inside yourself. So, the next time someone suggests you need to get out more, or make an effort to connect, smile and change the subject. You don't owe anyone access to your inner world. If you're someone who'd rather have 0 friends than the wrong friends, drop in comment. Let's see how many of us are out here building internal worlds while everyone else is building friend groups. This is Unfelt, where we explore the psychology of experiences most people never discuss. If these videos help you feel understood instead of judged, validated instead of fixed, stay here. This is your space. The next video might explain something about your personality that you felt your entire life but never had language for. You're not broken, isolated, or missing out. You're selective, sophisticated, and self-contained. That's not a flaw, that's a feature.